It is 4 p.m. We're bringing developing news.
And the stories behind the headlines. This is StoryCon. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Ed Lingao. Some stories today. The National Bureau of Investigation has recommended the filing of criminal charges against several officials linked to the flood control controversy. These include Senators Joel Villanueva, Jingo Estrada, Congressman Zaldi Co, former Public Works Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo, former Caloocan lawmaker Mitch Cahayon, and dismissed Public Works engineer Henry Alcantara. Justice Secretary Boying Remulla says the NBI is pushing charges of indirect bribery and malversation of public funds. The Anti-Money Laundering Council is also expected to issue a freeze order against the assets of the officials named in the complaint.
Well, actually, this just broke. The AMLAC has issued orders to freeze the assets of the aforementioned people. Meantime, former DE Henry Alcantara has tagged several other lawmakers in budget insertions and kickbacks from these infrastructure projects. At today's Senate Blue Ribbon Committee hearing, Alcantara accused Congressman Zaldi Co of diverting billions of pesos from flood control projects to flood control projects in Bulacan. He claimed that Co took a 20 to 25% cut from some 426 projects between 2022 and 2025, worth over 35 billion pesos.
Ang pera na nakalaan para kay Kong Zaldi dinadala sa akin. Ako naman po ang nagdadala o naghahatid na hinihinging porsyento ng Kong Zaldi sa iba't ibang tao niya. Hindi ko po siya na-meet during pagdadala. Ang tao niya po ay may alias lang Paul at Mark. Paminsan-minsan man, inahatid ko ito sa kanyang bahay sa Ladybug Street, Valle Verde.
Alcantara also claimed former Senator Bong Revilla Jr. as well as Senators Joel Villanueva and Jingo Estrada received payoffs from these budget insertions. But Alcantara denied any direct transactions with the said senators.
Ayon kay Yusek Bernardo, ang GAA insertions ng 2024 na magkakalaga ng 300 para po 300 milyon na para kay, sabi niya po sa akin, para kay Senator Bong Revilla na noon ay kumandidato bilang senador para sa 2025. Hindi alam ni Senator Joel na flood control ang mga proyektong nailan sa kanya dahil ang aking pagkakaalam ay ayaw po ni Senator Joel ang project na flood control. Ang halagang 150 million dila ko sa rest house sa Barangay Igulot, Bukay, Bulacan na iniiwan ko po sa tao niya na ang nagangalan lang Pumpeng. Tinanong ako ni Yusek Bernardo kung mayroon pa akong gustong lagyan at mayroon pang available na 355 si SJE. Ayon po kay Yusek Bernardo. Sabi ko po, boss, meron naman. Sagot ni Yusek Bernardo sa akin na ipasok ko agad sa kanyang listahan ng oras na yun.
Still at that hearing, tensions erupted between Blue Ribbon Committee Chair Senator Ping Lacson and his predecessor, Senator Rodante Marcoleta. The heated exchange happened while the inquiry was on a quick recess. Senator Marcoleta questioned Lacson's statement in an interview that dismissed Public Works engineer Bryce Hernandez. This deserves to be evaluated to join the Witness Protection Program more than contractors Curly and Sara Discaya. Marcoleta does not believe that Lacson has the prerogative to make that judgment. In reply, Lacson questioned his fellow senator's seeming defense of the Discayas. Here's a bit of that exchange.
The point is, an investigator cannot be judged at the same time. Do not judge.
We are not judging.
No, ang importante rito is the objectivity, sinasabi ko na sa'yo.
Are you trying to steal the show?
No. I am raising prejudicial questions.
You're creating trouble to prevent the proceeding?
Mr. Chair, sinabi ko na sa'yo, the interest of this committee is the impartiality, the objectivity. Sana huwag kayong magbibigay ng opinion. Why did you choose, for example, Bryce?
That's my opinion. You cannot question my opinion. Outside of this hall, you cannot question my opinion. You also express your opinion.
I am questioning your opinion because you are the chairman of this committee, Mr. Chair.
What's your prediction?
Ang mangyayari nito, so, mas credible si Bryce kesa Discaya. Bakit ganon? Why are we trying to prejudge this? Hindi, Mr. President, we are still in the process of investigation. If we are in the process of investigation,
why are you so protective of the Discayas? Why are you so protective?
I am not protecting them. Mabuti sinabi mo yan, Mr. Chair. Pwede ba natin i-record ito? Palagi niyong sinasabi, I am protective of the Diskaya. When I was chairman of this committee, sinabi ko na sa inyo, the only remedy provided under the law is for them to apply if they qualify under the process of witness protection program. That's all what I did.
Session is resumed. Session is resumed. Mr. Alcantara, you proceed.
And here now are the other stories we're watching this Tuesday, September 23. The International Criminal Court has filed 3 counts of murder against former President Duterte. The cases involve 49 incidents of murder and attempted murder, with a total of 78 victims linked to his war on drugs when he was mayor of Davao City and later as president of the Philippines. Prosecutors said that Duterte is criminally liable as an indirect co-perpetrator in a common plan involving authorities, civilians, and the Davao Death Squad.
The House Committee on Appropriations has approved the proposed 2026 national budget. That is with amendments from the Budget Amendments Review Subcommittee. The vote was 54 in favor, 6 against, and 4 abstentions.
Navotas Congressman Toby Chanco has filed an ethics complaint against Ako Bicol Congressman Zaldi Co before the House Ethics Committee. Chanco alleges that Co, former chairperson of the House Appropriations Committee, made last-minute insertions in the 2025 national budget. He says Co violated the Constitution and the Code of Conduct for Public Officials and Employees.
And former Presidential Communications Chief Cheloy Garafil is now the new Secretary General of the House of Representatives. She replaces Reginald Velasco. The SecGen post was declared vacant on Tuesday after a motion from Majority Leader Congressman Sandro Marcos. Marcos later nominated Garafil to the position.
And joining us today, again plotting on his phone with people we...
Nakita na nila kanina. Sino ba kausap? Let's see who he's talking to.
Oh, babae yan ah.
Tanda, Lola.
Grabe ka naman.
Nung Sunday.
Of course, StoryCon's President, political pundit Ronald Llamas. And from the Philippine Star, as usual, we've got Editor-in-Chief Ami Pamintuan.
Hi, Ami.
Hi, everybody.
Huli-huli namin si Ronaldo.
Sino pa ba, Ami, ang kakasuhan today?
Ay, nako.
Dapat madagdag si niloloko ng mga lagi daw magkaibigan si Senator Jinggoy saka si former Senator Bong Revilla, no?
Oh, very close.
Okay.
And if you do recall, even si Joel Villanueva was ordered dismissed by the Ombudsman.
Yes.
I think 2016. Although hindi siya tinuluyan dahil lang sabi ng Senate lawyers, wala nang jurisdiction daw yung Ombudsman dahil that was for a previous position, not in the Senate, but as Congressman of SIBAC party list. So that was for the 10 million peso pork barrel scandal.
10 billion
Yes.
pesos. 10 billion.
10 million.
10 million.
10 million.
10 million siya.
Malit pa nun yung
Kaya
malit pa nun yung mga amounts.
At that time,
billion kasi
in comparison to now.
So, meron pa. Sino yun?
Billion kasi.
Si former Congresswoman Mitch
pakinggan,
Cahayon Uy, who was also implicated. So just to bring everybody up to speed, si former Senator Bong Revilla was only mentioned today as far as the Blue Ribbon Committee hearings goes. And I guess people have immediately jumped to conclusions here, right? But I just want to point out na ito yung first mention sa kanya at these Blue Ribbon Committee hearings. Also, third-hand yung information. Kasi galing ito sa testimony ni Henry Alcantara, who said that former DPWH Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo went to him being Alcantara, and said in 2024, Henry, that's para yan kay Senator Bong Revilla. Baka gusto mo siyang tulungan. So this is the amount in question here is 300 million pesos allegedly for Bong Revilla, who was at that point
Sana all.
running for re-election. But again, this is third hand.
So far, that's hearsay pa lang eh.
Alcantara said wala siyang direct interactions with Senator Revilla, former Senator Revilla. So this is third hand information. But this is the first time his name was brought up at the Blue Ribbon Committee hearings.
Usually naman yung third hand.
Ang tandaan niya yung pork barrel, ang nakulong lang yung ano niya, yung chief of staff
Si
niya.
Cambe.
Sa pork barrel, yeah, and who died, unfortunately, namatay sa
Preso.
Bilibid.
Sa preso.
Sa Bilibid.
Yung former
sa
chief of
hanggang
staff.
ngayon, iniintay pa natin na ibalik sa atin yung 125 million.
Which they're fighting. Right?
Yeah, hindi daw, baka kaya yung 300 million, wala rin yan.
124.5 million pesos in civil liabilities. After being acquitted for plunder, he was ordered by Sandigan Bayan to return
Yan,
that
ang
money.
Hindi
gulo-gulo
pa
na
nasasoli
kasi
yan.
ng ruling,
Hindi pa
Wala
nasasoli.
kasi yan
Because he was acquitted. What would you return? What do you need to return if you were
Hindi,
acquitted?
pero yung wording
Civil liability.
Civil
pinapasoli
liability.
ng yeah.
The acquittal was for the criminal offense of plunder.
Yeah. Pinapasoli ng Sandigan Bayan pero sabi niya hindi daw.
Tuesday
They're
pa lang
arguing.
So, hinintay mo yung Friday, thank God it's
Hindi,
Friday.
marami pang kakasuhan. Within the week.
Tuesday pa lang.
Alam mo,
Hinihintay nga
alam
natin
mo.
May ICI ngayon, di ba? Ongoing eh.
Kaya nga eh.
What
Alam mo,
yung ICI?
we always knew September 23 was gonna be a big day. Hindi ko lang alam ito pala yung topic. Because September 23, remember, was supposed to be the confirmation of charges hearing.
Oh,
of
yeah.
Former President Duterte.
Yeah.
Naging
Pero
completely
pinagkakasuhan
different.
naman siya.
That's what I meant na sino pa ba yung kakasuhan ngayon?
You related sa
kinasuhan si
impeachment.
Tigo, kinasuhan ito. Sino pa yung mga susunod,
At
di ba?
least 3 counts of murder as a crime against humanity with 49 cases.
Baka sasabihin
under
na naman
the
nila,
prosecution.
akala namin libo-libo. No? Ang ibig sabihin dyan, they're setting a pattern.
correct. Oo.
Ito yung mga cases emphasizing that there was a pattern. Again, na pwedeng sabihin na crimes against humanity. Hindi specifically itong tatlo na ito.
Correct.
Yung
And usually, yung 49 cases, these would be the strongest cases where there's evidence, there's testimony, there's...
Ano kung 35,000 yung isasampa, wala na tayo nun.
You're forced to try to prove each one, and the
Nag-hearing
defense
pa rin.
will have to defend each case.
Paano ganun yung sabi kasi nila, akala namin libo-libo, but 49 lang.
These are just the strongest cases that the prosecution can prove. Ito yung pinaka may ebidensya and reflective of the crime that they're trying to prove here, which is murder as a crime against humanity. Anyway, coming back to, so ito na September 23, we're talking about criminal charges, pero against Senator Jingo Estrada, Senator Joel Villanueva, Congressman Zaldi Co, former DPWH Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo, and former Congresswoman Mitch Kahayon Uy, as well as Henry Alcantara. Broke just this afternoon, criminal charges na ang nire-recommend. And AMLAC has allegedly already issued orders to freeze their assets.
Can you imagine, all the assets of Jingoy and Joel frozen? Does that include, for example, family members like the wife? Kasi
I'm not sure. Pero
kasi if you have if you're married, syempre your property is
usually kasama yan eh.
Oo.
Dahil kahit ka sa salin kasama sila.
Oo.
So yun yung logic na yun. Pero hindi ko alam yung mga ganyang kaso ngayon eh dahil wala kasi akong assets na i-freeze eh.
Just...
Tsaka wala ka rin ngayon. Let's not go there. Okay. We're not going there.
Speaking of assets being frozen, let's bring in our first guest this afternoon. We're talking to Attorney Raymond Fortun, lawyer to engineer Bryce Hernandez. Good afternoon, Attorney. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon, Attorney.
Good afternoon, Attorney.
Nakamute siya.
Nakamute, sir.
Nakamute po kayo.
Right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go.
Good afternoon, sir.
Attorney.
Wait, hold on. The first thing I want to establish is how long have you been the representative of Bryce Hernandez? How long have you known him?
Tinanong niya.
Nung pumutok pa lamang yung issue, no? When the issue came out, then our law firm was hired. I was not the one personally contacted, and sorry for that. I was not the one who was personally contacted, no, but being the managing partner of the firm, I was at least observant of what was happening. So, nangyari was that I was very happy with the initial stance of Bryce because I felt that there was consistency on his part to speak about the involvement of some of the legislators. Kaya you will notice that during the early part, I was not very visible. Now, it actually turned sometime after he appeared before the Congress. And ang tanong ko kagad dun sa partner in charge ko, si Attorney Devanza, was, ano nangyari? Bakit biglang nagsalita tungkol dyan? And apparently there was some kind of shift, but I still wasn't happy. Now, ito yung just last weekend when there was a move to retrieve some of the evidence dun sa bahay ni Bryce. And it would appear that Bryce was now willing to tell all. That's when he asked me, ano attorney, pwede ba kailangan na namin yung tulong mo? So that's when you will notice that I suddenly became more visible and started speaking.
Right. But safe to say you've only known him a month or two.
Probably less. I got to speak with him. You will notice that one of the first interviews ni Senator Lacson was that meron daw lumapit at nagtatanong daw na tungkol sa witness protection, pero hindi na bumalik. Ako po yun. I was the one who approached Senator Lacson. He may or he may not confirm this because it's something that was pretty exploratory. Pero I was really one of the first ones na nilapit ko mismo si Bryce, and I wanted Bryce to see what Senator Lacson had to offer and what was the consequence of him becoming a state witness.
So, attorney, yun talaga yung pinapursue nyo? Is Bryce, kasi napapansin namin, he is offering a lot of personal testimony na maraming masasabit. Is he doing that on your advice o siya mismo ang nagsabi na gusto niyang magsalita and to enlighten the people kung ano yung mga nangyayari or to give his version of events anyway kung ano yung nangyayari? Advice niyo ba yun o siya yung may gusto?
Normally, yung kliyente, meron silang mga gustong mangyari. And then the lawyer's job is really just to show him the options. If you take this particular chance, ito yung posible mangyayari. If you do more than that, then this is what is expected. So we offered these options to him. And then he initially had his own reservations. I have to be the first one to say that merong mga ibang tao na bumubulong din sa kanya. We cannot avoid that. Mga kamag-anak, merong mga malapit sa kamag-anak. But finally, it was actually just last weekend. I correct myself. It actually started about last week. You will notice that he appeared before the ICI. And one of the things that he did was to surrender yung isang luxury vehicle niya. And the reason for that is I said, you cannot and should not hold on to any of your assets. The one way by which, if you want to enter the witness protection program, you have to give up the things that you were able to take. And when he started believing me, and he started turning over itong mga assets na ito. In fact, he should have turned over the Lamborghini already. Nawawala lang daw yung susi. So, but within the next few days, we will do exactly that. So, to answer your question, yes, I am of the belief that Bryce is listening to our advice as his counsels, and that slowly but surely, the public will be made aware of everything that he knows with regard to this, all the anomalies in the Bulacan 1st District.
Ronald?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yung computer niya, tinurn over na sa ICI.
Hindi pa po. Yan ang one sticking points. Pero I think he will come around. I had mentioned and I had said over the television that my plan and my desire is for the ICI to have this computer. Nangyari po kasi was that last week, I think it was sila Babe Singson and sila Justice Reyes who inquired about the computer. And Bryce, during that one time na pumunta siya sa ICI, promised to give the computer. And that's the reason why noong pinayagan siya ng Senado na pumunta nung Saturday, he was able to turn over quite a number of documents to the OSAA, no, yung Senate Sergeant at Arms. But actually kulang pa nga meron pa mga pang mga dokumento doon. But he already had this idea na pinangakuan niya sila Secretary Singson, si Justice Reyes, si Mayor Magalong, that he would be turning over the computer. And that's the reason why apparently hindi naintindihan ni Senator Lacson. Akala niya makukuha nila lahat. But there was already a prior agreement with the ICI that the computer will be turned over to the ICI.
So, attorney, ang sinasabi nyo ay medyo kulang yung pag-unawa ni Senator Ping Lacson doon sa naging usap sa kanya?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there might have been a miscommunication or a misimpression. Not sa kulang sa pangunawa. If I had said that, probably I may have said it wrongly. No? But definitely, the paalam was that he will try to obtain evidence that would be helpful in whatever he wanted to say. Si Bryce po kasi ayaw niya yung nagtuturo lamang na wala siyang mga dokumento, wala siyang ebidensya. And that's what he told the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. Can you allow me to go to my house so that I can get the evidences that I can utilize and show to you when I do come out and implicate certain people.
So hindi naman sa ayaw niya, it's more of kung kanino niya ibibigay, whether ICI or sa Blue Ribbon.
That's correct. No, he has been very cooperative. He wants to tell all from early last week, and that's the reason why I said, okay, sige Bryce, I will speak for you na, no? Kasi well, let us just say that as his counsel, I would be able to express things in a legal manner, answer some of the legal questions that will be asked, no? Which probably he would not be able to understand.
Sir, as far as testimonies and documents go that Bryce is holding on to, how far up or how far down pa ang kanyang mai-implicate? Even if I suppose kasi you're not yet ready to give names, additional names. Pero for example, legislators, how many more are we talking about here that he can implicate or that he would implicate down the line?
Kung ako po yung tatanungin niyo, alam ko merong 6 na senador
Dagdag pa yon. Hindi to total.
Sa mga dokumento
incumbent po yon. Incumbent ba, Senator?
Meron pong 2 na hindi incumbent. Yung 2 po ex.
So
ngayon, as 2 congressmen naman po, at least from what I had been shown initially, the list can actually be longer because Bryce said that there are more inside that computer. Well, lumabas na yung pangalan ni Mr. Ko, lumabas na yung pangalan ni Mitch Kahayon, meron pa pong mga iba. Meron pa po.
Mga ilang kaya? Mga ilang?
Sir, ballpark,
Si Feldstar po lumabas na.
May isang dosena pa kaya? May isang dosena pa kaya, Congressman?
Parang tawaran no?
Hindi siguro I don't think so. Then, you have to understand guys that this is only one district, meaning
Yes, sir.
Bulacan district. So in other words, there is always may nagtatanong sa akin bakit wala si Cheese. And my answer to that is I'm almost sure probably hindi ma-mention si Cheese simply because walang insertion doon. Si
Sa Bulacan.
Escudero, wala doon. Hindi ko sinasabi na wala siyang insertion somewhere else. No? Pero ito, at least insofar as Bulacan 1st District is concerned, ito lamang mga talagang involved. No? So, merong initials lang kasi. No? Yung initials doon sa, na makikita mo talaga kung sino yung proponent. No? And up to now, I haven't really extracted from Bryce who are the personalities corresponding to the initials.
Wait, sorry. I want to be very clear about this. In the Senate, you said 6 more senators or 6 in total, including the ones already named?
The one I have seen po, at 6. He has already mentioned Senator Joel, correct. Senator Goy,
Revilla.
And Revilla.
Yun lang.
Former Senator Revilla. Well, sorry, that's from Henry Alcantara pala. Sino ba yung under kay Senator, under the Senate?
yung meron pa pong isa, no? I am not at liberty to say. I should allow Bryce not to be the one to disclose
Okay.
that.
Attorney, ang
So,
sinasabi niyo ba ay nabanggit niyo kasi insertions eh. Iba kasi yung insertions sa kickback. So,
Iba pa po yun.
gusto ko lang
Iba pa.
i-clarify what do you mean? Insertions
Okay.
or kickback?
Sige, kasi remember guys that you do have the GAA and it is based on the net, no? Now, what happens here is that meron mga sinabmit na ng mga projects but you do not see who the proponents are. And then there are the insertions, meaning hindi nyo makikita sa GAA and yet merong mga proyekto and you will still see na walang proponent. The documents that Bryce has the listing of the proponents. Kung sino yung nagpasok ng mga proyekto na yon dito sa yung mga proyekto na to dito sa Bulacan. And therefore, quote-unquote, sino yung dapat na makakatanggap noong kickback.
Obligasyon.
That's it. Ang tawag doon, well, merong sinasabi, may patong, no? Kasi I think Bryce earlier also mentioned, di ba, they bloat the cost of the project so that merong ngayong pangbigay para doon sa mga senador or congressman or what, no? But that is also to ensure that yung some buildings, hospitals, schools, and some other high-rise, no, na mga buildings are not are not weak, no, or underdeveloped, such that na-maintain pa din naman yung integrity ng mga buildings na yun, notwithstanding the fact that there has already been patong made to cater to the kickbacks of the legislators.
Yes, I was wondering about that kasi he was pretty emphatic dun sa second part in saying na hindi pala substandard. He just misspoke daw. In effect, bale, they were just padding the expenses so that pwedeng tanggalan ng kickback and mabibuild pa rin according to standards daw yung project. But on the other hand, we've also seen a lot of projects na obviously substandard. Yung nadudurog na yung semento sa Bulacan, as well yung kulang-kulang. So, hindi lang po, it's not exactly true na hindi substandard ang projects. You also see clear cases of substandard projects, bagamat may kickback na.
Yeah, that's true, Ed. No? Let's distinguish the two. So, with regard to some mga projects, no, not flood control projects, what they do is they really make sure that the building is up to specs in accordance with the plan submitted. Ang ginagawa lang nila, pinobloat nila yung cost of the project. That is, so it allows now therefore the proponent to be given his share, and then it also allows now the engineers to be able to do the work properly. On the other hand, you now have the flood control projects. Yan, ibang usapan yan. Yan yung 25 to 30% na patong. And no, not patong, the 25 to 30% cut immediately by the legislator and the proponent. So, nagkakaroon na ngayon ng hatian. Merong 8% papunta sa ganito. Yung, even the fake bidding process wherein the losing bidders are to receive amounts as losing bidders.
Consolation prize.
Oh, pabuya. Okay? So, ganun talaga, no? Yun ang kalakaran. And then at the end of the day, lumalabas parang 25, 30% na lang yung natitira from the total amount that has been allocated for that particular project. And now, you really end up with substandard projects.
Attorney, alam naman natin na if you're applying for witness protection, we will be presuming na you are not the most guilty, no? Kung sakasakala, sino kaya yung magiging most guilty doon?
I would think that the DOJ would be able to answer that question more precisely, no? Again, let's take a look at the Janet Napoles scenario. Yan siguro ang best na analogy that we can make. If you take a look at Janet Napoles, she was the one who conceptualized the entire scheme. Siya yung lumapit dun sa mga congressmen, allegedly, pero I think it's true naman, kasi lumabas sa ebidensya. Siya yung mga lumapit, she offered her services to the legislators. They said, if you allow your PDAF or your PDAF to be utilized by us, ibigay niyo yung pera sa amin, they'll set up these fake NGOs for you. You get your cut even before the money comes out. I'll be the one to deal with the DBM, not to come out with the SARO. Lalabas yung pera, they spread out the wealth, no, to the COA and to all the other post audits, and then they end up with whatever's left. And most of the time, there was really no project at all. Meaning talagang as in, kinuha lang talaga nila yung pera, and they made it appear that there were projects that were made. You will notice that there was a whistleblower there. His name was Ben Herluy. And Ben Herluy, admittedly, was also part of that entire scheme. The difference is that you had a clear mastermind, somebody who was orchestrating the entire thing. That was Janet Napoles. So let's go back to the situation that we have here. We have here basically now Bryce Hernandez saying that yes, kami yung mga nakakuha ng pera, kinokolekta namin dun sa mga contractors, but you see all of these were at the direction of our boss, Boss Henry. Now, Boss Henry has now spoken out and said all of these were at the direction of Yusek Bernardo. Yes. So we need to see. We need to see. Ano ba ngayon ang sasabihin ni Bernardo? Kasi apparently, as it stands right now, the mastermind, the one who conceptualized this entire thing, would appear to be Yusek Bernardo, and to a lesser extent, it should be Henry Alcantara.
So in
Ano
short,
kung ituro ni Yusek, mga congressman naman? Sino na yung ano doon? Kasi na sinasabi ni Ping Lacson, original sin daw, yung mga lawmakers.
Well, again, and to be candid, yung 20, 25, and 30%, guys, no, hindi naman tayo pinanganak yesterday. We knew that was happening, right? For some time. Yeah. We knew it. So the truth is that it was, they used the term SOP, Standard Operating Procedure. Meaning, hindi pa umuupo yung congressman na yan, alam na nila na ganyan yung kalakaran. So, in other words, no, somebody apparently knew what the system was, but you see, you still need to do kumpas. For example, I know, at least Bryce tells me, no, that Engineer Alcantara was handpicked to become the district engineer for Bulacan. Why would that happen? That would happen because Henry Alcantara was already designated to be at the center, at the hub of everything. And that Henry Alcantara was the one who would implement, no, and tell all the people, no, to comply. Otherwise, itong mga tao na to, suddenly magkakaroon ngayon sila ng mga cases filed against them, and then they will be forced to leave. There have been instances like that in Bulacan that happened. No, na yung mga hindi nagko-cooperate kay Henry Alcantara, ginagawa nila ng kaso, tapos nagre-resign na lang. Ganun yung nangyari. So,
Attorney, sinong nag-handpick? Sinong nag-handpick kay Henry Alcantara?
My understanding is it's Yusek Bernardo.
Right.
Okay.
But Attorney, is it also correct to say that you're also only hearing that from your client? Because as you admitted, you just met him. So yung all the backstories around what's going on in Bulacan, sa kanya mo lang din narinig, correct?
Yeah, I have his affidavit. Yes, he has actually prepared affidavit. Okay. We call it a whistleblower's report. So before I actually started speaking for him, I already knew practically the entire scheme and who the people are, who the personalities that will be involved with.
Is it, in short, is it your strategy now to paint Bryce Hernandez as the least guilty here?
He can't be the least guilty. You know, all that you have to do is just take a look at yung kanyang Ferrari at saka yung Lamborghini and millions that he spent inside the casino. He's not the least guilty. But the requirement under the law to become a state witness
as long as they're not the most guilty. Okay, so you're trying to position him as a player in the middle, basically. You're not the most guilty, but you're also not the least guilty. A middle guilty party, basically.
Somewhat guilty?
Well, I'm not gonna wash his sins. No? Obviously, he's done something really bad for the country. But there are 5 requisites in order to become a state witness. Number 1 is the absolute necessity for his testimony. Number 2, that there is no other direct evidence available in order to prosecute the offense against the masterminds. Number 3, that the testimony can be substantially corroborated in its material points. Number 4, of course, is that he is not the most guilty. Number 5 is that he's not been previously convicted of an offense involving moral turpitude. So makikita nyo no, na hindi lang yan yung basta magsasalita siya. Whatever he says has to be also corroborated. And that's why important din naman na that JP Mendoza is there, because JP Mendoza will corroborate everything that Bryce Hernandez will testify. Ngayon, kaninang umaga, what happened, again, let's go back 1 week or 2 weeks ago. Si Alcantara was denying everything. And he was, ang testimony naman ni Bryce, na pinatawag sila first week of August, and sinabihan niya lahat ng mga taon doon, oy, tuturo natin, na ang nakagagawan dito is si Bryce at saka si JP. Sino pa naman papayag doon sa ganun, di ba? Kasi talaga naman lahat sila involved. So that's why, ang position biglang nagbago. Yeah, last week, no, Alcantara was saying, hindi po ako, no, hindi kami close. Evidence to the contrary, videos to the contrary. Hindi ko kilala si Senator Joel Villanueva. Evidence to the contrary. And it was only Bryce who actually stood up and said this was what's happening. So the truth is, and I'm sorry to say this, pero the only reason that Alcantara came out this morning and applied for the Witness Protection Program is because of being forced, really. No, he had no other recourse because Bryce has already pinpointed him as the person who was involved.
Attorney, theoretically naman, pwede silang lahat na pumasok sa witness protection, di ba? Theoretically.
Theoretically, pero dapat may makulong.
Yes, sir. Pero sir,
pero attorney, yun ang inaalala ng mga tao. Yun ang inaalala nila. Pag nag-witness protection, linawin lang natin na pag nag-witness protection, it doesn't completely exculpate you from punishment, no?
Right.
Pwede ka pa rin makulong pero liliit yung sentensya. Tama ba yun?
Yeah, it's possible, no? Pwede. No. Okay, so under Rule 119, Section 17 of the Rules on Criminal Procedure, it says a discharge of the accused as a state witness. When we say discharge, no, as an accused, hindi na siya masisentensyahan.
Yes.
He will not be convicted. Okay, but I am also of the impression that a judge may probably in its wisdom, no, the law does not discount the possibility where a minor witness, for example, kunyari, still unaccused, no, will be given a lighter sentence because yung kanyang testimony will be vital in order to convict the others.
Pero sir, in his testimony kanina, si Alcantara nga practically implicated Bong Revilla, although by hearsay, saying na yung 300 million peso insertion in 2024 was for Revilla, was running for election in 2025, and that he had to increase the kickback to 30% because Bernardo said na, Henry, kay Senator Bong yan, gusto mo tumulong sa kanya and all that. So, yes. In effect, balay si Alcantara implicated Bong Revilla, at least by hearsay. My question is, earlier kasi, you were, if I understand correctly, you were the lawyer of Bong Revilla, at least in
libel.
In the possible libel case against those posting social media posts that supposedly led to his defeat in 2025. Yes. So where are you now? How do you situate yourself now? And is there any conflict on your part?
From a conflict standpoint, I don't think that there is a conflict that has been created. Number one, because the two cases are very different from each other. Whatever information that Senator Revilla had revealed to me with regard to the matter that he brought to my attention, hindi namin napapag-usapan itong flood control issues or yung mga kanyang alleged na natatanggap, no, as a kickback. So I never received any information that I can utilize in order to have him convicted. So no conflict. Secondly, if you will notice, although we had plans to file a cyber libel complaint, we've never filed. Mm-hmm. So the truth is up to now, although I may have spoken on his behalf, but I have my action as a counsel to represent a petitioner or a complainant in a case has not actually been created.
Attorney, can you confirm definitively that Senator Bong Revilla is not your client right now?
Well, he is a client. He is a client.
He remains a client then, even though you never filed the case.
He is a client because because he has engaged my services. You know, in the code of professional responsibility ng mga lawyers, once that merong advice that you give, that there has been a consultation with regard to a particular matter that can evolve into a case, has been brought to my attention, I have given advice, automatically client na siya, even if that person has not even paid a single centavo.
Right. Okay, so then do you expect to represent him in this case too?
I doubt it. And I don't, and when that time comes, if he does decide to seek my help to try to defend him, I will have to say that I do have a conflict.
Which would be Bryce.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so if any of the other senators or lawmakers implicated approach your law firm, which is one of the higher profile law firms in the country, you would have to turn them down as well.
Yes,
Kasi
that's correct.
nauna na si Bryce.
It cannot, no? Kasi automatically is that Bryce is my client and he will be rendering testimony against the individuals who will be implicated. So obviously, I cannot represent.
Yeah, not just you, attorney, but your whole law firm cannot take on other lawmakers, correct?
Yes, that's correct. We cannot create any firewalls here, and I will not allow it.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, let me back up lang a bit just for our elucidation. Ano po yung status ng case ni Senator Bong Revilla? Kasi I remember he was acquitted for plunder, but at the same time, there was an order for him to pay civil liability of 124 million pesos. Was that ever resolved, as far as you would know?
Yeah, I have knowledge of that particular case. No? Kasi nga, it was one of the things which was brought to my attention when he had consulted with me with regard to possible cyber libel against some vloggers. No?
Yes,
so
sir.
I have read the decision, and to be candid to everybody, the decision did convict Janet Napoles and Richard Cambe, acquitted Senator Revilla, and then said that may liability nga na 140 million, I believe. No?
124.5, sir.
124.5.
Thank you for that. Okay, now the thing is that there is a provision in our revised penal code wherein if one is acquitted, then the civil liability also does not attach. So, ang nangyari po dito is that the Office of the Special Prosecutor, yung nagpo-prosecute ng kaso doon sa Sandigan Bayan, had asked now for the implementation of the 124 million against Bong Revilla. And Senator Revilla had opposed it, saying, acquitted ako eh. You cannot run after me. And I understand that even up to this day, that has not been resolved by the Sandigan Bayan. So effectively, wala pa talaga ang stand with Senator Bong is that he is not liable for the 124 million, and the Sandigan Bayan has not come out with any resolution with regard to the motion filed by the prosecution to enforce the civil liability against Senator Bong.
Okay, that's
Pending yung
handy,
issue
yes.
na yon. It's a pending issue o kailangan may mag-file na naman ng petition na paki-implement na nga itong ruling na to or to clarify?
Pwede naman po sila talaga na mag-file ng either yung tinatawag na motion to resolve, no? If it's a
Yes.
pwede sila mag-file ng motion to resolve, and then the court now effectively will now be put on notice na hoy, meron pala tayong pending motion na hindi pa natin na nare-resolve and that they should be acted on. Medyo matagal na din naman kasi, no? That was
Yes.
2018.
So, hindi pa nila nire-resolve. That's the last that I heard. That there was a motion, in fact, to execute the civil aspect of that decision
Yes, sir.
against Senator Bong. Senator Bong's lawyers had opposed it, and there has been no resolution by the Sandigan Bayan.
Okay. Sir, let me circle back to Bryce Hernandez. Among his testimonies kasi daang milyon na kasyang dala-dala nila kaliwat kanan. We're wondering how they're able to gather all these bills, withdraw them from the banks, and not trigger anything. I mean, we're not talking about 1 million, 2 million. We're talking about
Hundreds
50,
of
100,
millions.
150,
A
200, half
billion.
million.
20
Or make the banks
cases
liable.
containing 50 million pesos each. That's the first
magkano?
time I heard about it. I was shocked. Now,
Attorney,
your
sorry,
question is
pakiulit.
it possible? Is it possible? Well, kung iipunin nila, Now, I think we all understand, kasi I've dealt with money as well, as a lawyer. And alam nyo, yung mismong ultimo lamang na 10 million pesos na susubukan mo i-withdraw sa bangko, hindi mo magagawa.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
the bank does not have that much cash inside
Yes.
its vault. You will have to call up and then they will schedule sa pababalikin ka pa nila. 10 million lang yun. Ito
Correct.
hindi, hundreds of millions. No? So, tama yan. I think that's one of the things that the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee should probably look into. How is it possible that there can be a transmittal of 1 billion pesos worth of cash, no? Paano nilikom yan? You have Sally Santos already testifying that nagte-turnover siya ng 150 million. Yung malalaki din yung pera na binibigay niya kala Bryce. So how is that possible?
Attorney, I'm so sorry. We missed the first line that you said. Could you repeat that? How were they able to take the cash out of the banks?
Yung una niyong sagot.
Oo, in my own experience, talaga it would be very difficult for anybody to try to withdraw a substantial amount from the banks kasi the banks don't have that much money, that much cash in its vault. They would have to call the central bank
Hindi, sir,
and
sir.
then ask the central bank for the bills. No?
Sir,
Ang gagawin, pababalikin ka talaga eh.
Attorney, you mentioned
specifically in the
banks,
case,
a number of banks,
No.
at kung magkano yung nakayang i-withdraw from the banks.
Yeah, ako personally, ang hirap ang bangko niyan. 10
Yes.
million lamang, mahirapan ka na mag-withdraw.
So, attorney,
Hindi mo lang
specifically
schedule.
in Bryce's case, paano po niya ginawa? How did they do it?
Yeah, I think Sally Santos will be the person who would be most knowledgeable about how she was able to turn over at least 100 million pesos in cash. No, I mean, hindi natin mapapagkaila. I mean, there's really money there. No, so how was she able to collect all of this? Was it just tinanong yan kanina during the hearing kay Sally Santos paano pumasok yung pera dun sa account niya and paano winidraw? Hindi masyado naging malinaw yung kanyang testimony Importante yun because even the central bank should be alerted somehow that there's this substantial withdrawal of money. And how did they allow this? Bakit wala man lang any inquiry as to what this money was for? Sino ba yung nag-withdraw na yan? Para saan ba yan? And so forth.
From your legal perspective, attorney, anong liability ng mga bangko na gumawa niyan?
Pasensya. Sir, hindi po ako kasi litigation lawyer ako hindi ako masyado bihasa sa central bank So I think there should be entities that should look into this either the central bank, the monetary board na dapat tinitingnan nila. I mean, there are regulatory rules on this hindi nila agad-agad yan na malalabas yung pera at manilikom ng ganitong karami unless the banks knew that there was something up and they allowed it.
The thing that this case is missing, Attorney Raymond, is the smoking gun. Because what we have right now are a lot of very big, very heavy allegations. He said. Sa explanation nga ni Senator Ping, he has 2 of 3 elements already. He's got the allegations from both Bryce Hernandez and Henry Alcantara. He found the exact line items in the budget, both in the programmed funds as well as in the unprogrammed allocations. What he's missing right now is the 3rd element, which is the kickbacks. What kind of proof do we have on hand to tie the insertions to the kickbacks in these projects? As far as you know, does Bryce Hernandez have anything on that? Is he holding on to any kind of evidence like that?
Okay. Well, I have to be, again, from a lawyer's standpoint, most of the evidence here would now be circumstantial in nature. Obviously, there is not going to be any resibo na tumanggap kami 25 to 30%. And even if walang resibo, walang senator or congressman who will admit to having received, wala din yon. They will all deny it. What you do have are circumstantial evidence. What are these? Number 1 would be the fact that you have substandard projects, even ghost projects. So in other, that's one. Number two, you have monies that were withdrawn. Number three, you would have sign-offs by both Bryce Hernandez and Henry Alcantara that these projects were completed and that the full payment should already be made. Number four, you have the banks actually releasing the cash themselves. And number five, you have now these photographs of the monies actually being compiled. So now you end up now with the last two important points. You have people, specifically Bryce Hernandez, JP Mendoza, some of the other people in DPWH First District, and now you have Henry Alcantara all confirming that they were giving up 25 to 30% of the monies that they were able to collect from the contractors, gave it now to Yusek Bernardo. So you now still actually have one more missing person. It's Yusek Bernardo.
Kaya, di ba, attorney, hindi na, di ba yan na yung mga resibo? Yan na yung mga smoking guns? Dahil meron kang witnesses at meron kang other witnesses corroborating the other witnesses. So kahit walang resibo, katulad nung kay Napoles, wala rin namang resibo yun eh. Pero may corroboration yung mga witnesses eh.
No, yung in the case kasi, Boss Llamas, no, in the case of Napoles, merong kasing resibo eh. Merong tumanggap na one of the staff eh. Yung in the case of Senator Bong, di ba si Richard Cambe, nakalista po yun na meron siyang tinanggap na pera eh. And then in the part of Senator Jinggoy, I remember it was a Pauline Labayen. There was a Pauline Labayen, and of course she's now she's on the run. She's a fugitive. And meron talagang tumatanggap ng pera. Lumabas yun, merong mga dokumento which would show that monies were indeed received. Okay, so dito walang ganon. And I know as a fact that you're never gonna find it because wala namang aamin. Merong mga attempts, sinasabi, buksan niyo yung bank account ko, buksan niyo yung secrecy of bank deposits waiver ako, ganito. I mean, no, you don't keep it in your own bank account, man.
Pero
the question is
whether yung mga tao, halimbawa yung mga tao nila, may mga pinangalan ng yung mga taga-receive daw. Oo, hindi ba pwedeng gawin yung link na yan ang boss mo eh, bakit ka kumukuha ng ganung pera?
Everything is just gonna be on a suspicion or a question of market.
Yeah.
This Beng Ramos will come out and say, yeah, I did it, I received this money. Wala eh. The most nga talaga is just, you can just, okay, what is circumstantial evidence and can it actually lead to a conviction? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Okay? You can actually convict a person on the basis of circumstantial evidence. When all of these circumstantial evidences, when you put together, lead to no other conclusion except the commission of the crime. So, pwede. Is there enough in order to convict? I am not in a position to say that. That would be the function of the judge. Depende on the evidence ay present ng prosecution. Would there be enough evidence? That's up to the DOJ. They will make a decision on who should be witnesses for the prosecution, how much evidence they will present, what other documents that they will need in order to corroborate the testimony and evidence of the witnesses.
The problem, though, attorney, as we've seen time and again, is that those with resources are able to hire high-powered lawyers to hide behind technicalities, right? That's why itong question of whether circumstantial evidence is going to be enough to convict is a very big question mark at this point. But we'll leave the conversation there. Thank you so much for talking to us and shedding light on this issue. Attorney Raymond Fortun, lawyer to dismissed DPWH engineer Bryce Hernandez. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, attorney.
Good afternoon, everyone.
As we were talking, umulan na ulit.
Ay,
Pati yung weather, galit eh.
Galit na galit.
Tumiyak ang langit.
Galit, tumahampas eh.
Ayan, very poetic. Umiyak ang langit. Exactly.
Lalo na yung concluding remark mo.
Bakit? It's factual. No? This is the problem. Diba, this is why they say,
hindi siya smoking gun.
We always weaponize the law. The rich know how to weaponize the law and they know that's why walang convictions.
At nag-hire na
high-powered lawyers like Attorney Fortune, right? Bakit siya pinuntahan ni Bryce Hernandez? Because these lawyers are well-known in the industry. Right?
Tapos going back to Bong Revilla's earlier acquittal cum order to return the money since 2018 pa.
7 years.
Malapit na yung kung magmo-motion pa sila na baka sabihin na naman niya inordinate delay.
It also makes you wonder how come nobody ever filed a motion to implement.
Tingin ko maraming MR na nakafile. No? Kahit mag-decision yung korte, MR ng MR yan.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
Yeah.
The lawyers know what to do,
maging
right?
inordinate delay nga, dismissed.
Okay.
Nagagawin naman kami sa'yo.
Inordinate delay.
Ginagalit niyo si Ronald.
Nagagawin naman kami.
On a very rainy, stormy Tuesday. But thank you so much for joining StoryCon today. Ami Pamituan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star, Ronald Llamas, a resident political pundit. Kahit nagalit na, tumatawa pa rin. Join us again tomorrow, 4 p.m. for StoryCon. I'm Regina Lay. I'm
Edlin Gao. We are One News All Sides all the time.
This is the Story Conference Group or the StoryCon Group.